Good afternoon, everyone. It's a great pleasure to be here in Coimbatore in my extended family, ICT Academy. Thank you, Kumar sir. Thank you, Anbu sir. The topic what I've chosen now to present is on the role of youth in the nation building. Today, India is in the path of transformation. We are in the path of transforming India into a new India by 2022. If you look at from 2014 onwards, in India there is a lot of vibrancy happening at the government level, industry level, as well as in the academic level. Can I have the PowerPoint? Yeah. So all these changes are brought focusing you, that is the youth. You are the champions of change in India. And if you look at India was not called as India before 1000 years. It was called Bharat. Before 1000 years, India was contributing about 53% of the global GDP. Later, after 500 years, it was contributing about 26%. When Britishers left us in 1947, our GDP was meager 3.2% global GDP, contribution to the global GDP. And with a lot of efforts in the past 60 years, we rose up to 6%, but this is not sufficient. We are a population of about 25% of the global population, that is 1/6 of the humanities in India. But we have a global GDP of 6%. Now this is the problem statement we have. To build this, we need to go back to the old days of prosperity. That is what we call this as building Bharat. We need to have a dialogue, plan and action. How do you do that? Today, many youth aspire to actually come up. If you go and ask any youth, the first thing that they will tell you after coming out from any college is to secure an employment. This model of development is not the model which is suitable to India. India is a unique country. It has various problems. We need entrepreneurship drive in the country because only the youth can uplift at least 600 million people in our country who in the past had a very, very bad deal in our country. 3/4 of the people in India don't have a better life, or the quality of life is not that great, including you and me. Today, India has a lot of problems. To transform this India, we need to work towards building our nation. When I talk about building our nation, it's not something which is two poles apart. Your career goal and building the nation is not two goals apart. It is inclusive of both. When I talk about nation building, I talk about economic capital, human capital and social capital, which I will discuss at the end, how you can integrate all three while developing yourself in this country and also how we can develop the country. I would request all the youth here to go through two books. One, that is a book written by the speeches given by Swami Vivekananda, The Call to the Youth of India and Call to the Nation. These two books actually gives a lot of message on how we become the nation builder. Honorable Prime Minister, when he came in 2014, the country was flooded with a lot of problems. He had two options, one to look at the negativity, two, shun the negativity, appraise the positivity. So he started taking a lot of activities around development of the industries and students and things like that. I don't know how many of them track the schemes brought out by the Prime Minister. In fact, ICT Academy has been propagating all the policy of the Prime Minister since 2014, be it Make in India, be it Digital India, be it Skill India, be it Startup India, Stand Up India, all the policies of the government, because all the policies of government are directly related to you. In fact, many people, if I'm going to ask you, what is the population of India? I'm sure a lot of people are either unaware or you're going to give a wrong number. Today, we are about 130 crore population. My dear friends, in this 130 crore population, nearly 700 million population is a youth population. This population, the youthful population, is not there in US, is not there in Europe, is not even there in China. So the future of the world is the human capital, which is there in India. Now to empower this youth, we need to bring a lot of policies and bring a lot of positivity in the country. That's what the Prime Minister is doing from 2014 onwards. Bringing across length and breadth of the country various schemes to empower the citizens. The first thing that the Prime Minister did to build the nation was to bring the Niti Aayog. I'm not sure how many of them know that in India we had a planning commission. Most of the planning commissions 5-year plan remained only in the paper, it never translated into action. So, the moment he came to the power, he scrapped the planning commission. He brought something called Niti Aayog, that is National Institution for Transforming India, which is a which functions on the principles of cooperative federalism. What is this cooperative federalism? Where the Prime Minister will sit along with the Chief Minister and plan for the country's transformation. That is Niti Aayog, which is the model which was existing in China. One of the economists in China brought this in China, and he developed the rural and village industries. That model is replicated now under the Niti Aayog. So Niti Aayog is a supreme institution today bringing policy in the country which impacts you. Be it today the education policy, be it any policy in the government, it is the inputs are given by the Niti Aayog, that is National Institution of Transforming India. The next important thing that has happened in our country from 2014 onwards, the JAM Trinity. What is this JAM Trinity? Jan Dhan, Aadhaar and mobile. Why do we need a Jan Dhan account in our country? If you look at, in our country, the corruption is enrooted. This corruption is primarily because the person who was supposed to get the money did not get it. The middleman took away everything. It did not reach the needy. By bringing the Jan Dhan account, now everybody has an account. About 27 crore families in India have Jan Dhan account out of 46 crore families. 46 crore families, the population is 130 crore, 46 crore families are there. About 27 crore families have Jan Dhan account. Now today, if the subsidy need to be credited, it can directly go to the people. 2, Aadhaar. I'm sure everybody here would have Aadhaar. In our country, out of 130 crore population, and at least 113 crore population have Aadhaar. And finally, the mobile connection. Today, each and everyone here have mobile connection. This is the great opportunity which India has brought as an infrastructure, which is great opportunity for you, because this infrastructure was never existing for the previous generation. Using this infrastructure, you can bring disruptive solutions for the people of India. Today, when people talk about entrepreneurship, they talk about Silicon Valley. It's a wrong notion. Entrepreneurship will thrive, entrepreneurship will grow only when there is a problem. India has a bundle of problems, and each youth here can work on a problem, and that will become an opportunity for you. For example, Hemlata Annamalai was speaking about the battery vehicle. When she spoke about it, she said she found that there's a market for battery vehicle in India, and she came back from Singapore to do that entrepreneurship. When you are graduating fresh out of the college, maybe few years of experience in the industry you might have, and come back and start your own venture. Make in India. In 2014, when the government came in, the domestic manufacturing was negative. To revive that, the Prime Minister brought the policy called Make in India. Make in India is not a policy for manufacturing. Please understand. They have identified strategically about 23 sectors in Make in India. All these sectors are directly related to the engineering course what you are pursuing. Today, if India is going to attract more FDI and Make in India, that means you are going to get more employment. If India is going to bring a good policy and ease of doing business in Make in India, it is useful for you, because if you start your business, you can directly get the benefit of Make in India. So a lot of efforts are taken in the Make in India space, and in fact, the FDI and domestic manufacturing has actually picked up in the past few years. In fact, it has got doubled, and more than 50% growth has been shown in the past 2 years. Skill India, one of the important flagship program of the Prime Minister. It was launched in the year 2014 itself, as soon as he came to the power. This is a very, very important project, because today in our country, there are a lot of engineers, but there are no drivers. Today there are a lot of engineers, we don't have carpenters. Today there are a lot of engineers, but we don't have teachers. Not only that, today a mechanical engineer doesn't know how to repair his own vehicle. For example, a civil engineer does not know the work of a mason. And 3, your electrical and electronic engineer does not know how to fit a tube light. It is not the statement I made, it is a statement made by the Honorable Minister for Skill Development and Entrepreneurship, Mr. Raju Pratap Rudy. Now, that means everybody is possessing education certificate, but we are not skilled. If this is going to continue, what will happen is everybody will be educated, you will be educated but unemployed. This is a bad situation which cannot exist in the country. That is the reason government identified skilling is very, very important, and they brought the Skill India policy. That Skill India movement today has given a lot of employment to the people. And not only that, Skill India with the Startup India is the model that India should evolve. Because today, you will see the days where, in fact, in the morning, the TCS Vice President was explaining. The jobs what you are aspiring today will not be there after 3 years. Take it from me, there's a automation happening, industry 4.0 coming up, smart factory, smart business, so everything is going to be digitized. And not only that, humans are replaced by the automation and cognitive solution. When this is going to happen, you need to have alternative careers. You need to reskill every day. It is not that when you graduate from the college, you will go for a job and permanently remain for 30 years. Gone are those days. Neither in the government nor in the private sector, you can remain the same. You need to reskill every day because there are a lot of development happening around the globe. Look at this video. All right, this Digital India brought up by the government is also an important project. In fact, the people who are in the information technology space, it's a boon for them. Because today, Digital India is not about connecting the metro cities. Digital India is about empowering, power to empower the rural citizen as well. I don't know how many of them know that when the government came in, they were about to shut down all these post offices. But they have revived the post offices because the Digital India campaign has been launched. These post offices are now looked as e-commerce spots, and they've also converted this post office into a small bank. Take it from me, in another 2 years down the line, 65% of the e-commerce business is going to be, offtake is going to come from rural area. The reason is Government of India has put about 1,05,000 kilometers fiber optic cables, and not only that, and high-speed internet is going to be there in all the rural places going forward. This will transform India, and these post offices will also act as a small banks, which can be utilized for the purpose of your bank deposits and things like that. And about 6,60,000 villages, in India we have about 6,60,000 villages, and we have about 1,32,000 post offices. So this is a great network. Along with the Digital India, it is also transforming the ecosystem of doing business in India. Startup India, Stand Up India. You might think this is not relevant for you, but take it from me, this is more relevant because today every youth aspires to go for employment. But there is an opportunity to start up yourself. For example, look at all those companies, be it Google, Microsoft, and all top-notch companies in the world. Every company is headed by an Indian. All these companies might be based out of US, but look at the profile of the people working there, it is an Indian. What is the difference? The Indians who went to US had the ecosystem for entrepreneurship. But the same Indian, when he is remained in India, there is no ecosystem, where the government did not help them. In fact, the entrepreneurs grew because government did not interfere. So they did not help, because without help, the entrepreneurs grew. But now the government says, we will help you with the funding, we will bring a policy which are favorable to you, and accordingly the Startup India came into picture. Mudra Bank. Today in our country, 90% of business are run by MSME and SME. This is not financed through a proper formal channel. But this Mudra Bank, which is brought by the Government of India, is looking at funding all these small and medium enterprises and micro enterprises who are paying the highest level of interest through this channel, where the winter session of the Parliament, the government is planning to pass the bill with respect to Mudra Bank. In every street in India, you will have Mudra Bank going forward. These are some of the transformation plans, and GST has come in India, BIM app, NPCI, digital payments, and National Digital Literacy Mission, where people who don't know how to use mobile, they are taught now. In fact, ICT Academy, I am aware that they are targeting about 5 lakh people to be coached under the National Digital Literacy Mission. Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao. This is the girl child education initiative by the government. Today, many girl child education is not happening in India. Don't think the schools are not there, but because the schools does not have toilet doors. It was a survey done in all the states. They found that the schools does not have a toilet doors. The girls schools does not have a toilet doors. When the toilet doors are replaced in a particular state, the education, the girl child education went up. So these are the things that the government is actually doing. These are some of the transformational projects, and the guidance for this is taken from the Sustainable Development Goals, which are about 17 goals. If you go through all the goals, that is, for example, poverty or clean water and all these things, if you go through the entire guidance, you being an engineering graduate, you will get a perspective. That perspective will lead you to the entrepreneurship and skill development. So that can be used. And in fact, most of the business leaders today around the world are using the Sustainable Development Goals. In fact, Indian business leaders also use that Sustainable Development as a guidance to become an entrepreneur. I know some of the universities where they have a particular semester, a subject on sustainable development goals is taught, because when they understand sustainable development goals, they understand the problem of the country. When they understand the problem of the country, they work on the solution. So I wish most of the professors are here, most of the students are here, please go through the sustainable development goals and try to map to your existing curriculum so that you will understand what kind of a transformation you can bring in the country. Now, what do you need to do to build the brand India? To build the brand India, you need to develop your talent and then trade. You have to improve the trade in the country, and you need to stick on to the tradition, because we are confused today. We are neither westernized, we are neither Indianized. We are confused today. So we need to clearly stick on to our traditions, and tourism has to be developed, and technology, we need to harness the technology in our country. And take it from me, India will set standards in the days to come. You are part of the journey of transformation. You are the champions of change. But what is required is you should be conscious what's happening in the country, because all these projects are brought keeping you in mind, because you are you are about 60% of the population in India. So you need to focus on what sectors you need to work. I request all the colleges to harness the projects of the government. In fact, ICT Academy is a right platform. In fact, I was just discussing with CEO about various projects we have done, and clearly today academia cannot remain alone from the industry, and industry cannot remain alone from government. I showcase what are the projects brought by the government, and these projects brought by the government are squarely relating to the industry, and industry is where the students are seeking the job and they're looking at starting up. So accordingly, you cannot remain aloof. So you need to collaborate yourself in all the three platforms, and then only you can understand what kind of a transformation you can bring in. And not only that, if you are going to complain saying that the syllabus given by the AICTE or UGC is outdated, you cannot complain that, because in India is a big country, it's a democratic country. You cannot bring a syllabus based on the talents of each and every individual. Indian government can only bring a universal education. It is up to each and every candidate and each and every university to actually customize to the requirements of the industry and reskill and empower your students, because the future only is guaranteed to those people who keep reskilling every day and every semester also, if you are studying in the college. And thank you for this wonderful opportunity. I request everybody here for a while to take the pledge, New India. You should take the pledge, I am New India. Let's do it together. 1, 2, 3. I am New India. I am New India. I am New India. And we will transform India to #1 country by 2022. In that, Tamil Nadu will become #1 state by your efforts, because you are going to be the change makers. Be aware, be conscious, and you be the part of the development model. Thank you so much for this wonderful opportunity.